Hi guys, I hope you are doing good and welcome back to the channel. If you are new here, my name is Ravi, and in this video I will be sharing with you guys some tips to how to understand a book and how to properly read a book. So make sure you watch the full video, and if you are new into the non-fiction books, this video will be very helpful to you. So just you can kind of gain new information of these topics, and kind of before you pick any book, you will have more understanding of what you are trying to read or what you are trying to gain, what your goals are from that particular book. So make sure you watch the full video to know the more informations. So before picking any book, you have to ask yourself why you are going to read that book particularly, or why you are pick that book. What are your intentions basically from that book to gain information, or to kind of apply some of the information in your practical life, or just you are reading for storing the information so that you can act on it later on. So you have to ask yourself why you are reading that particular book or on that particular subject. So before reading any book, ask yourself these 4 questions. This will help you to understand why you are going to read that book and what you will gain after reading that book basically. So the first question is, what is the overall message or overall theme of that book that you're gonna read? And you will find out in the about pages of the book, or you will also read some of the information on the internet, or some of the information about that author or on that subject that the book is about. And the second question is you have to ask is, how does the author's argument unfold? So you have to search for that answer or search for that statement or that any kind of information that you are trying to learn from that book particularly, and that is why you pick that book actually. And search for that argument and see how that the advice or the tips that the author's given in that book is unfold. And the third question you have to ask yourself is the author's argument valid? So you have to, after reading that answer or that argument, you have to ask yourself, what I'm reading is actually it's valid or not. It's actually fact or some kind of nonsense or other type of stuff that the author have written in that book. So you have to check some resources or some kind of back resources that the authors actually provided or not, or it's actually fact or not. So you have to do that in order to just kind of check that you have information you have read it's actually fact or it's actually valid or not. And the fourth question is you have to ask how you're gonna act on the author's argument, or how you're gonna apply the lessons or the points that the authors make. So you have to think like how you proceed on that information or on that argument in your life practically. So you have to think about it, it's actually practical or not that you have read in real life. So you have to think about that also. One of the best things about these questions is you have to make a habit of asking these questions. So while reading any book, or whenever you read any book, in the middle of that book or anywhere, you have to ask these questions subconsciously in your mind, so that whenever you come upon anything that's interesting or anything that's valid, so that you will have your why in your mind, and why you pick that book on the first place, or what is the reason or what is the goal that you're trying to read for that book. So you will have a understanding what you're gonna take out from that book. So whenever you find out any useful information, you will know that I have to note that information in another book, or I have to highlight that information, or I have to mark a question mark or mark a star point on that book. So this is the very important thing to ask these 4 questions while you are reading. So that is the 4 questions that you can ask yourself while reading the book or any particular book, and that will help you a lot to understand the book. And let's talk about the other practical ways that you can apply on any book that you are trying to read. So the first thing you can do is you can read the title of the book. And some of the books, just like Atomic Habits and The Compound Effect, so they basically tell the overall book's idea or overall the book's theme on the title itself. When you read the Atomic Habits, it's all about habits, and it's all about how to make good habits and how to sustain it, how the science behind good habits works, and how you can break the habits, bad habits actually. Some of the books actually tells you when you read the title of the book, like the Atomic Habits or The Compound Effect, or some other books like Ego is the Enemy. So you will understand what is the book actually is about. And the second tip is you can read the table of contents. So when you read the table of contents on the particular book, you will understand the overall message of the book actually. So you will have the understanding of the overall theme of that book. So what my process is, whenever I pick up any book, I just go in the table of contents and see some of the interesting topics that what I'm trying to read from that book is actually what my intentions are from that particular book, and I jump on that chapter directly and read the all information there, and after reading that I will go into the rest of the chapters and read the book also, the all book, so that I will have the all information that the author's argument that he is trying to portray. So you can read the table of contents, and actually in the beginning of the book you will have the preface and the about section of the book, so you have to read that also, so that you can also have the more information about that book. The more information you have in the beginning, the better you will understand the book. Third tip is find the main chapters. So when you do the previous exercises, now you will have the more understanding of what is the book is about and what is the overall message. So in that way you will more likely to find out the main chapters of the book. So when you do that, read that chapters and you will have the understanding of overall the book. Basically 50 to 60% of the book you will gain the information when you find out the main chapters of the book is what is the main argument that the authors have written in that particular chapter. So when you find out that, you will have the understanding of what is the overall book is about. So find out the main chapters of the book and also just flip through some of the pages, and that way you will have a general sense of idea what is the actual book is about also, so that you can use this tip also. Just flip some of the pages and read some of the headlines or the sections in the beginning or short summaries from the last of the chapters, so that you will have more sense of the overall chapter or the overall book also. So now let's talk about some of the other effective ways to understand a book actually. So you can highlight the sentences, or you can underline some of the main points, some of the useful information that you're going to use later, or actually you can symbol like star or question mark on some of the statements that you are that's confusing to understand, so that you will come back later and do some more research on that to understand the concept more better. And what you can do is you can actually add points like number 1 or number 2 and sub points in the margins section, so that you will have some kind of idea, yeah, this is this section and this is the some other sections. That's the structure of this chapter. And what you can do is you can actually, whenever the argument is in that particular section, you can write down like evidence 1 or evidence 2. That way you will understand basically. So you can do that also, and you can also refer to the pages. So let's say you find out some useful information in the beginning of the book or some other concepts that you are very interested in, and that exact same thing or some kind of extend version to that concept you find out in the middle in that book. So you can do it is to refer to that beginning of the page in the margin section. That way you will have understanding of, yeah, this is the same exact concept I found out in the beginning of the book, so that you will link to that 2 sections or 2 pages. And these small effective techniques will increase your ability to understand the book particularly in a better way. So when you read and when you actually practice these note taking tips or the other questions asking techniques that I told you in the beginning, you will have the ability to more understanding any book. So you will apply these techniques or these question asking tips while you are reading. You will have a more understanding of the book, or you will some kind of grasp the knowledge of that book, some kind of 40% or 30% before reading the book actually. So make sure you apply these tips and the ways that I've told you in this video, and just apply on the book that you are reading right now or you're going to read. You will understand more the concept that you are trying to read or trying to gain. And this is some of the basics of the how to read a book or how to better understand the book, and this is some of the basic informations that you have to know. And this is some of the effective ways that you can apply to better know this type of concepts. And if you are new to this channel, make sure you hit the subscribe button and hit that bell icon also, and comment down below what are the other videos you guys wanted to see on this channel. I will make that video. And what are the other books that you guys wanted me to read, and I will give a review on that book also. And subscribe to this channel and check out my other social media accounts, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.